An investigation by Channel 2 Action News has brought new attention to a tragic shooting that occurred just hours after a wedding celebration. What was supposed to be one of the happiest nights for a newly married couple in Butts County, Georgia, turned into a deadly confrontation. Now, months later, the groom has been charged with felony murder, sparking controversy and disagreement among local law enforcement officials. According to the case details, the incident took place in July 2024, shortly after the wedding ceremony of Aaron White and his bride, Kayla White. Sheriff Gary Long confirms that Aaron White did shoot and kill a man that night, but he strongly disagrees with the decision to charge the groom with felony murder. In fact, the sheriff says this is the first time in over a decade that he has publicly opposed a charging decision made by the district attorney. The victim was identified as 44-year-old Jason Mahan, who was later revealed to be the bride's stepfather. While Kayla White expressed sadness over his death, she has consistently stood by her husband, saying she believes the truth will eventually come out. Investigators say tensions escalated after the bride asked a relative, who appeared to be intoxicated and acting inappropriately, to leave the gathering. A physical scuffle followed, and Aaron White stepped in to separate those involved. Moments later, Jason Mahan allegedly arrived at the scene and struck White in the face, knocking him to the ground. What happened next is central to the case. Minutes after the initial altercation, Mahan returned along with the relative involved in the earlier dispute. At some point, a gun was fired by the relative, and Aaron White suffered an injury to his hand. Witness accounts differ on exactly when that shot occurred. White claims he feared for his life as Mahan chased him, forcing him to retreat to his truck. There, he says, he retrieved his firearm and acted in self-defense. "I believed it was a life-or-death situation," White stated during an interview. Sheriff Long maintains that White acted lawfully, arguing that citizens should not be punished for defending themselves in dangerous situations. However, the district attorney views the case very differently, setting the stage for a legal battle that has divided the community. As the investigation continued, the Butts County Sheriff's Office requested assistance from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to ensure an independent review of the evidence. District Attorney Jonathan Adams initially presented the case to a grand jury in 2025. That grand jury declined to charge Aaron White with homicide, determining the shooting appeared to fall under self-defense. Related assault charges against White and others were later dismissed. However, the case did not end there. Earlier this year, the district attorney brought the same case before a second grand jury. This time, the outcome was dramatically different. Aaron White was indicted on charges of felony murder and aggravated assault, reigniting public debate and placing the groom back in the center of a legal storm. According to the district attorney, the critical question is not whether White felt threatened, but whether his response was legally justified. Prosecutors argue a jury must decide if White reasonably believed he was in imminent danger of serious bodily harm and whether using a firearm rather than physical force was appropriate under the circumstances. Sheriff Long has criticized this decision, warning that it could discourage law-abiding citizens from protecting themselves. He says the charges contradict what he and other law enforcement officers teach in firearm safety courses the district attorney himself has previously supported. Meanwhile, the victim's family continues to grieve. Jason Mahan's father spoke emotionally, saying no parent should ever have to bury their child. Despite the pain, the family says they are placing their trust in the justice system to reach the right conclusion. Since the indictment, Aaron White has been released on bond. His defense attorney argues that outside factors, including politics, may have influenced the renewed prosecution. Because the case is ongoing, the defense has limited White's public statements. As this case moves toward trial, it raises difficult questions about self-defense laws, prosecutorial discretion, and how justice should be applied in emotionally charged situations. With strong opinions on both sides, many are watching closely as the legal process unfolds, knowing the final decision could have lasting implications far beyond this single case.